Venom. It's not a good movie. Now, I didn't hate Venom. I certainly didn't love it. I don't think it's any secret that critics are not responding to Venom so well. However, audiences do seem to be enjoying it quite a bit more. I believe it made $80 million domestically in its opening weekend. So audiences seem to enjoy it at least a little bit. And personally, I felt myself wanting to like the movie. Almost trying to convince myself that I did like the movie. However, there's just a lot of issues with it. And I think for myself and for critics, a lot of those issues come down to the script. Now, going into this movie, I thought that what I was going to dislike about it was the exclusion of Spider-Man, so the retelling of the Venom origin, the PG-13 rating, because a lot of us were led to believe that it was going to be rated R, which I think for this character in particular, an R rating probably would have benefited it. However, the exclusion of Spider-Man and the PG-13 rating did not hurt the movie nearly as much as I thought it would. Didn't do the movie any favors, but they weren't that big of issues. The issues were the script, or scripts, because it definitely seems like there's at least two separate scripts here, or two separate movies, really. There's the movie that Tom Hardy thinks he's in, which is this goofy, almost horror comedy action collage. And then you've got the movie that everyone else seems to be making, which is a much more self-serious, by-the-numbers, generic action sci-fi film. I think the reason that we ended up with this mess here really comes down to the studio. Once again, studios doing what they do best. Sony hired a director with unique vision, the director of Zombieland, so a lot of us were kind of excited. We thought, or it would seem that Venom sort of lends itself to this sort of stylized action horror comedy of a Zombieland type film. So anyway, Sony hires, a team to make this movie, and when the product that they were hired to make starts to formulate, Sony panics and commissions a bunch of edits, rewrites, etc. Now, I know a lot of the rumors are that Sony sort of stepped in because they wanted to make a movie that would mesh better with the MCU, because they would like to play with Spider-Man in the future. Whatever the reasoning is, it didn't do the movie any favors. There really are two separate things going on here. What Tom Hardy's doing, but the Eddie Brock Venom part of this movie works really well. They got the characterization of Venom down. It was very entertaining, very decent. The rest of the movie is just a watered down by the numbers film. All the action scenes feel like scenes you've seen a million times before. The story's very generic, dull, doesn't do anything new. It's lazy feeling. However, I do think that in a movie titled Venom, the fact that they got the character of Venom so well done is almost enough to save the movie. Not quite enough, but almost. What Tom Hardy's doing here really works. It's really entertaining. He basically gets to play he gets to play Eddie Brock and Venom, because they're the symbiote bonds with Eddie Brock, and they turn into a we. So there are two personalities going on, and he's playing both of those roles, and it's a lot of fun to watch. The fun that he's having on screen and his energy is contagious, so that when he's doing his Venom thing, you can't help but enjoy it at least a little bit. So for me, that isn't enough to save this movie, but it is enough to save the concept of a Venom franchise. And they do something at the end, and I'll avoid any spoilers, but they pretty much directly set up a sequel with a very specific character. And if they're to take that character and to take the Venom from this movie and just go full tilt with the crazy batshit insanity that Venom should be, I think there's enough here for a decent sequel. So that's my hope for the Venom franchise, with or without Spider-Man. I'd love to see Spider-Man included, but I would like to see them make a decent movie first. So no, I don't think critics are wrong. This isn't a good movie. I also don't think audiences are wrong. There's a lot to like here if you're a fan. The movie itself, there's not much to like, but there's a lot to like in Venom, which sounds oxymoronic. So whether or not I can recommend the movie, if you're a fan of comic books or Venom in general, yeah, go see it. You're not going to hate it. Otherwise, if there's something else to see, maybe go see that instead. Ultimately, I think I'm going to give Venom 2.5 out of 5 anti-heroes.